So let's say your producer texts you some timings for your shoot day, and you need to convert all of that into a client-facing production schedule very quickly. So you need to take a jumbled mass of information like this and convert it into something like this. I was able to take this really tedious task and cut it down to under 30 seconds with a very simple Claude prompt. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our message. We're going to highlight the whole thing. We're going to copy it. We're going to go into Claude, and we're going to pull up our prompt right here. And we're going to fire the prompt. And it's going to return 2 blocks of information for me to copy paste into Google Sheets. So we're going to copy the numbers for the timing. And then we're going to copy the block of text that has all of the set action and info for the day. And within about 15 seconds, we have a fully functioning client-facing schedule based on all of the scheduling information that we have. So I'm going to walk you through how this works. This whole thing came out of a pretty specific situation where my producer was running a stretch of like small crew run-and-gun shoots in multiple cities and living out of a suitcase. And he was building his schedules in Google Docs. Now, Google Docs isn't really built for scheduling. Like, you can't do auto calculations for timings. It isn't necessarily client-facing out of the box. So I built this Sheets template based around what his doc formats were. And I started manually inputting a lot of this information in here. But when I learned that you could take information and text and put it into Claude and it would return formatted data like this, I could probably build a prompt that would do most of this for me. The goal was never to have the prompt do everything. It was really to eliminate the most tedious part, which was taking this information and getting it formatted into a working setup like this that I can then tweak from there. I'm going to actually walk you through the sheet structure because the prompt and the template are designed to work together, as you saw. So this column is the engine that drives everything. You'll enter the number of minutes that each segment of your shoot day lasts, and then that'll be it. It never shows up on the printed schedule, but it's doing all the work behind the scenes. So the time column is actually one single input, which is the start time of your day, and then the rest of it is going to be formulas. So these formulas pull from the prior cell, and then it will add the number of minutes that it is calculated to give you the next time. So in this case, if we pivot this to 5:30, we'll see that every time below it will adjust according to the numbers on the left. So again, if our call time is 5:30 and we want to have 90 minutes of time, we'll put 90 here, and everything below it will filter and adjust. The duration column just pulls the number from the number column over here and then adds minutes to it so that it clearly denotes how long you have to do that setup. And then the rest of this is pretty obvious. You've got the set or the action that you've got going on. You're going to have whatever talent are going to be present. And I have addresses on this schedule simply because this was designed for a very mobile run and gun unit where they travel to a number of locations each day. These shoots are also pretty product heavy, so I have call outs for what products may be needed in a given scene. And then, of course, any notes that you would want to apply for those sections. This template is available at a link in the description, so feel free to go in. You can copy it and adjust it for your own needs. And so here's the full workflow and prompt in a little bit more detail. We're going to go back to our text message. We're going to highlight this whole thing. We're going to copy it. We'll go back into Claude. And then we're going to fire the prompt out of Text Expander, which would be, in this case, text to schedule. So it gives it specific instructions to convert the information into a schedule for Google Sheets. It gives it a breakdown of each column that you saw. Then it tells it to return the output as 2 plain text blocks. Now, the reason it needs to be converted into 2 plain text blocks is because we have this formula column right here for time. And so I want it to return just the time and then everything over here. If it were to return everything all at once, it would ruin the formulas for this column. I haven't found a super clean workaround because I suppose I could put all the times over on this column on the right, but I want the times to all be in the same area. So I just have this on the left for the time being. So it returns the output as 2 text blocks. Block 1 is just the numbers column, and then block 2 is the tab separated values, which is the format that will automatically paste into Google Sheets and split it out appropriately. I also tell it to not include headers in any of the blocks. It's just the data that will go into the table itself. And then it will know to leave the address blank for anything I haven't specified, and then telling it to keep the set action descriptions concise and client-facing. And then right here in between these brackets in Text Expander is actually a clipboard macro, which will paste whatever I most recently copied to my clipboard, which in this case was the text message that my producer had sent me. So we'll fire this one more time just to see it in action. It'll give me the 2 blocks one more time. We will copy the times, paste it in here. We will copy all of the schedule information, paste it in here, and we are good to go. We can now make all the tweaks that we need to do whatever we need to do. Now, one of the additional things that is great about this is if you are operating in a Claude project already and you've input information like addresses or products or just really any notes that gives it context on the shoot, it will usually pull from that and fill in a lot of these gaps automatically, which is great. But even without that, as you can see, like we got a full-on working schedule just based on a jumbled text message that the producer sent us. The hard part's pretty much done. And one other thing worth mentioning is you don't really need a producer's text to make this work. Like if you're building a schedule from scratch, you could dictate it directly into the prompt, like rough timing, segment descriptions, whatever product or location context you have, and it will give you as best of an output it can with the information that you gave it. And I have a backlog of a bunch of hacks that I'm working through, but if you have any specific workflows or problems that you've run into from a production standpoint, if it's something that really strikes me or something that I've already built, I'm happy to prioritize making a video showing my workflow for how I handle that. So thank you guys again. You'll find all the prompts and sheets templates in the description below. We'll see you on the next one.